What's up, everybody? Ben here for Bailey Brothers Music, coming to you from the Taylor guitar booth here at the 2018 Winter NAMM show. The guys here at Taylor have done something really interesting with a new bracing pattern. It's called the V-brace. Check out this video from Mark Seal to tell you a little bit more about what that's all about.
Hi, I'm Mark Seal at NAMM Show 2018 for Taylor Guitars, and we're introducing to you V-Class bracing. Andy Powers designed V-Class bracing, a new sonic engine in our guitars to really increase the expressive range of a player and give them the ability to play with more power, hold notes longer, and effectively use the entire fingerboard like never before. It all starts with volume and sustain. Volume is related to the flexibility of the guitar's top. If we think about a banjo, it's loud because the top is very flexible, but the notes don't decay long. If we think about sustain, we often think about a Gibson Les Paul. It's a big, thick piece of wood. The notes sustain for days, but there's very little volume unless you plug it into an amp. Traditionally, with an X brace, there's always a compromise between sustain and volume. If we make the bracing tighter and more stiff, we get more sustain, but we lose some of that volume, and the opposite is also true. That's where V-Class shines. V-Class really has achieved the goal of adding volume and sustain independently of each other. It does so by having a vertical stiffness down the center line of the strings, which creates stiffness where it's needed for sustain, but keeps the sides more flexible, which increases the volume. The overall result is more power, longer notes, and better projection across the entire fingerboard. Where V-Class really shines is that it preys on the weaknesses of most traditional guitars. For example, the E on the G string or the 9th fret of the 3rd string on most of the guitars are very, very weak. On V-Class, notice the sustain and the projection. And it's not held to just that part of the guitar, it's across every note on the guitar. I'll run an E major scale and notice again the projection, the sustain, and the warmth of each note. With V-Class, you get not only more volume and sustain, but an also better intonated guitar. When we think about the word intonation, we're really thinking about the word in-tuneness. And when we think of intonation, we think about compensation, or the distance from the nut to the saddle. The intonation on Taylor guitars has been great for many years, but now with the added orderly movement of notes on the top of the guitars sound more intonated as well. Let me explain. If we think about harmony plus compensation, then we get true intonation. Well, harmony is really how notes work together. And because the top of the guitar is moving in a more orderly fashion, rocking from side to side, the notes are more pure, they're more true, and as such, they sound better together. Let me give you an example. If I play an E major triad up high here, I've got a 3rd on top, these notes should sound a lot of warbling and there should be a lot of beating. But you notice with V-Class bracing, they're very clear. If I play a 1st inversion B major chord, same thing. Or a 2nd inversion G major chord. In each one of those instances, there were notes that were being played high up on the neck, and there were 3rds involved, which are typically prone to warbling or beating. In each one of those cases, I also had that 12th fret B in the chord. In the E, it was acting as the 5th. In the B, it was acting as the root. And in the G, it was acting as the 3rd. And in all those cases, a very smooth sound. If you think about applause at the end of a concert, everybody applauding at the same time, it's very loud and it's very chaotic, yet it's applause. But at the same time, if a singer were to get everybody clapping on 2 and 4, it becomes much more musical, much more orderly, even though it's the same amount of hands applauding. Think of applause after a song more like an X brace, where the 4 quadrants are all kind of going crazy in a little bit less than orderly fashion. Whereas with V-brace, it's more like everyone clapping in time together, creating a much smoother and more transparent, articulate, pure sound from the instrument. V-bracing really opens up to playing open chords without that fear of those sour notes. I've been playing a G chord my entire life, And I've kind of defaulted into playing a G5, where I don't put the third on the fifth string or the third on the second string. It just makes the G sound much smoother. But now, with V-class bracing, if I play a G with those thirds in there, it sounds great. There's no warbling or uncomfortable sour notes going on there. Same thing with an E major. I tend to shy away from that third on the third string, that G sharp. Here you notice it sounds very clean. And of course the D major is one that people always stress out on, that second fret on the first string. It sounds really clear. All these open position chords, or first position chords now, are fully intonated. And I even think about when I'm on the road doing road shows, there's certain riffs that I'll play that make me nervous. And often I'll get a pass because I'm playing some cool Zeppelin riff or something. But what's really neat about this guitar is some of those passes that traditionally have made me get a little nervous now sound great because the intonation is spot on. Check this little excerpt from the Rain song. Listen to that chord right there. Or when I come down to this part, this chord right here. It just sounds amazing. The greatest thing about V-class is that it's virtually for everybody. If you think about a beginner, first time they play a chord, it's going to sound more in tune than they've ever heard, which will inspire them to want to play more. If you think about vocalists, a more in tune guitar is going to help you to want to sing better and have a more true pitch to reference your voice after. In the studio, it's fantastic because everything is so pure that it actually will make it much easier for the acoustic guitar to even enter into the electric world, which is the electronic world, I should say, where all those notes are pitched so perfectly. And finally, just for great guitar players, to have the ability and the freedom to play over the entire fingerboard with power, sustain, projection, and have no sour spots or dead notes is going to be something that's truly remarkable. Welcome to V-Class.
You've got to come by the store and play one of these things for yourself. I'm absolutely floored by how good these guitars play and sound. They are coming to a Bailey Brothers store near you. Come see us in store or online at baileybrothers.com.
If you will allow a disconnection between what I said and what is right.